All right. I'm back from not being on here for a little bit. Um, the Houston Texans suffered a embarrassing loss by the Seattle Seahawks on Monday Night Football a couple of days ago, and everyone's trying to kind of move past this. I'm still not quite done with it because I think there are a lot of lingering problems um, that are stemming from this game. And it's continued throughout the week as we've heard D'Amico Ryans and Nick Haley and the rest of the coordinators speak about what exactly the game plan was versus Seattle and what their mindset was going into it. I think first and foremost, and this is I'm going completely off the cuff right now. Um, I don't understand how you come out of a bye week. The Houston Texans came out of a bye week and completely crapped the bed. They seemed like they had no direction on offense whatsoever, which was to be expected. I mean, we haven't seen great things out of this offense unless we're playing a lower tier or banged up team in the NFL. I didn't expect much of the offense, but for the defense to come out and allow two touchdowns on the second and third series of the game and immediately make it 14 to nothing, you're basically taking CJ Stroud and just, sir, you have the right to remain silent. You may say, and any, like, you're just putting read him as Miranda rights at that point. You're putting his hands behind his back and saying, hey, we screwed up and now you got to go save us. Seth Payne Seth Payne did this earlier in the week, and I give him credit for it because he was being critical in the right places, and that's something I think we're gonna have to kind of learn about this Texans team is that we're gonna have to learn where to be critical in the right places, which is, excuse me, the offense is not going to win you games. The defense is what's going to win you games, but the defense also has to be a factor in early parts of the game where you can't let the offense and a guy that you know in JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, you can't let him just drive down the field and just pick apart your secondary. We'll dive into the why weren't they pressing him? Derek Stingley should have been pressing onto Jackson Smith and Jigba. He should have been following him all over the field. I'm going to dive into that later on. But back to my original point, you cannot allow a team to dictate the game immediately because what you have is a really good defense, a probably one of the best defenses that the Houston Texans franchise has ever seen, and an offense that has just not got their they have just not got their wheels turning yet unless they're playing again a banged up Ravens team or a completely ridiculous Titans team. They don't they're not there yet. And I'm going to give them a few games. I'm going to give them I would say at week 10 I'm going to reassess this again. So I'll give him another, was that 2, 3 weeks? So coming up on week 8, 2 weeks. Nick Haley has not looked impressive so far. And it's frustrating because it seemed like this was D'Amico and Nick's kind of like coming together, like this is the guy we both want. Whereas Bobby Slowick, it seemed like that was just like, hey, D'Amico on his side was just saying, hey, I know this guy that I used to work in a cubicle with back in 2017. when I was a quality control consultant for or a coordinator or whatever for the San Francisco 49ers. Really great offensive mind. You know, I think he was considered a passing game coordinator the year before he left San Francisco, whatever. And let me bring him over and I can get this offense going. That didn't work out. And for whatever reason, it's still, there's a lot of people clamoring that we probably should have kept Bobby around at this point. The Nick Caley hiring seems more like they were in line with each other. Nick Caley has a ton of ties to Nick Caserio. He has a ton of background to the New England Patriots system. I know a lot of people want to say, well, he came from the Rams and, he knows Sean McVay's system. That's not necessarily the case. He was only there for a short period of time. And he's not running what the Rams run. I don't even know. To be completely honest with you, I'm not even going to bullshit you. I have no clue what Nick Caley is trying to run with this offense. I don't think he does either. I honestly don't think he understands the players he has in front of him and the circumstances at which he's operating with. It blows my mind. I don't think he really gets it. And it's it's so frustrating to watch football and to hear, because I see you guys on the chat columns, and I have no idea if anybody's even watching this. If you are, thank you so much. I see fan chats on the chat columns of Landry Locker and Houston Football with Cody Stutes and Seth Payne and all of these guys, and Sports Radio 610, like all these guys that are talking about what's going on right now. And the main question is, do we know what the hell we're doing? Hell, JJ Watt went on Pat McAfee on Wednesday, was that yesterday, and said, I don't think this offense really has an identity yet. And he's absolutely right. He didn't have to say anything about where the offense was or what was going on with the Houston Texans. Pat McAfee even gave him an out. He said, you don't have to talk about the Texans if you don't want to. We're not going to put you down on it. People are so frustrated watching this team at a national level. I saw a comment from Pardon My Take, from PFT commenter, who said CJ Stroud looks as bored with this team as we do watching them. It was something along those lines. I don't know. I'll bring the quote up. It was something along the lines of CJ Stroud looks as disinterested to be here as we do to watch them on primetime TV. And it's just like, man, this thing it's unrolling real quick. Like to come into the season with so much hype around you. And this is why I'm not going to get into the Longhorns because I'm a huge Texas Longhorns fan, and I hated the fact that they were the number one team. But this is why I hate the preseason, like when they start to talk about teams and rank teams and all this. I hate it. I hate it so much because players are humans, and to a certain extent, especially with a young, and we say this is a young team. I think the average age of this team is like on the bottom tier because we have so many vets that don't really play. But from the common core of this team, the Houston Texans are a young football team. CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, Will Anderson Jr., Derek Stingley, Kellen Bullock, Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie. You can even throw Aziz Al-Shaair, and he's not that old. Woody Marks, Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins, all the rookies that we got this year. This is to the core of the team. This is a young football team. Ariante Urshri, We got a rookie starting at left tackle trying to block CJ's blind side right now. It's a whole nother wormhole to go down. This is a young football team. Yes, we have some veterans on the team, but they don't contribute much. I mean, Daniil Hunter is probably the only veteran I can think of off the top of my head, like real, like contributing, and that's another conversation to have. I I don't understand how you go into a season with just thinking that you can roll out what we had on the offense. And now I'm going on a tangent and I forgot where I was previously, but what I'm trying to work at is I think that we have a major coaching problem right now. We have a major behind the doors problem right now because after the game on Monday night, we got D'Amico Ryans at the press conference after the game was over said that there's to walk you guys back through if you don't remember there was 2 minutes and 4 seconds left on the play clock, which means that if Kaimi Fairbairn kicks the ball out of bounds, he doesn't have to kick it out of the end zone. He doesn't have to kick it through the end zone. He doesn't, in my opinion, have to kick it anywhere near the damn end zone. He needs to kick it out of bounds. He needs to just do a left hook shank and put it on the 40-yard line, force them to get a first down, use that 4 seconds to create another timeout to get you an extra down, because that's basically what you're doing. Say Kaimi kicks it out of bounds, you're getting to the 40-yard line, and they have to run 4 plays in 2 timeouts worth of hours to get a first down. So say it's first down, 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. Kaimi kicked it out of bounds. No time went off the clock. We still have 2 minutes and 4 seconds. So now they have to run a play. They're going to run it, probably. They run it. 4 seconds goes off the clock. 3 would be great because then, but it ticks down to the 2-minute warning. You get a timeout there. That's a loss of down. Now it's second down. You go to second and let's say it's 2nd and 7. They run it again. They get like 2 yards. Maybe they get stuffed. Who knows? At this point, the defense is probably just absolutely foaming at the mouth trying to get some type of a turnover. And D'Amico's defense does that. They kept us in the game the whole time. Say it's 3rd and 6, and now at this point, so 40 seconds has gone off the clock. So we'll say it's down to a minute 16 when they snap the ball, and that's at bare minimum. Snap the ball again. We stuff them again. You had a chance, and we have a timeout, by the way. So timeout there, you had a chance to get the ball back with at least a little bit less than a minute left. And say they punt it, and you got to drive maybe 70 yards with 45 to 50 seconds left. That could have been that could have easily been done. Easily. And not only do they not kick the ball out of bounds, they kick it into the end zone, let the player return it, burn the 2-minute warning, then get them in a situation where it's like, oh, we might get the ball back anyways. And Tim Settle jumps on the pile, which this goes back to discipline and the whole Aziz Al-Shair tackling a guy on the sideline, tackling the quarterback of all people on the sideline. Tim Settle jumps on the pile, which you cannot do. It is like, this is the most basic. I watch football all the time. This is the most basic type of thinking. when it comes to critical situations, don't lose yards. Don't get out of assignment. Don't screw your team. And Tim Settle decides that because the runner isn't falling down quick enough when there's already a barrage of players on him, he needs to jump on the pile with his 320-pound body to kill the play. You didn't have to do that. He was going down no matter what. And even if he didn't, he's not getting the first down. You did absolutely nothing by doing that. And I get it. You're in the moment. You're in the game. You're like, just get him down. I get it. This all comes down to where are these players' heads at when this moment comes and when situations in the game arise. Where is your head at as far as a player, and where is the coaching getting your players' heads in the right space? Do you know where your players' headspace is? Because clearly they don't. Kaimi doing that. The goal line stand on 2 different occasions where they ran a stretch play, leaked off 50 seconds. This is basically just me venting. I don't have a whole lot of notes taken down to like structure this. This is basically just me venting and testing out a stream to see where I can go. I'm so disappointed in the lack of accountability, the lack of coaching, the lack of player execution. It all around, that was a giant what the hell are we doing? Because this team was supposed to be good. That's the other thing. This team was supposed to be good. We had high expectations coming into this season. And the Texans have done nothing but go, oh, well, we're close. Maybe next week. Oh, we're right there. Maybe next week. And we've heard this song and dance so many times. And it's getting old, man. It's getting old real quick. And I don't know. I'm doing a test run here, so I'm gonna let this end here, and I'm gonna go more in depth with some critical breakdowns. Because obviously there's nobody in here.